Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico slammed Ukraine's plan for Europe to fund $100 billion in US arms, calling it a failed joke. He criticized EU states for being forced to finance Kyiv's military purchases while European soldiers and taxpayers face the consequences. Fico called the proposed arms deal a fail idea that turns European resources into a free gift for Ukraine's war effort. He questioned the logic of European nations buying weapons from the US, only to send them to the battlefield, warning it would deepen the war on European soil.
I repeat, 100 billion euros, but the account is paid by EU member states. It looks like a failed joke, but we have witnessed them quite often in this war. I can't even imagine, in my wildest dreams, that Slovakia would buy some weapons from the United States and then send them to the battlefield for free to Ukraine.
The plan comes as Ukraine seeks US security guarantees following a potential peace settlement with Russia, including a $50 billion joint drone production deal. Kyiv aims to buy at least 10 Patriot air defense systems and other advanced weapons, financed by EU countries, despite no guarantee of peace. Fico emphasized that any lasting peace must involve negotiated agreements on NATO membership and territorial control. He criticized the EU for failing to assert authority and suggested that the process only moved forward because of Trump's involvement, highlighting the alliance's inability to independently manage the Ukraine conflict.
After the war, every general, but I would like to remind you that the withdrawal of Ukraine's membership in NATO was clear to me from the first statements in the war on Ukraine. Although I was harshly criticized for this attitude, it's important to have a factual agreement that we will not move without a discussion about territorial changes in Ukraine.
Ukraine insists a ceasefire precedes any arms transfer and rejects preemptive territorial concessions. Fico's comments echoed skepticism over Kyiv's proposals, highlighting that European nations are being used as a financial tool in a war far from their borders. Analysts say the EU and NATO face growing credibility problems. Fico's warnings underline European frustration over being dragged into Ukraine's war, while the US profits, exposing the limits of EU influence and raising questions about whether the alliance is being leveraged to fund Kyiv's conflict rather than enforce peace.